Hey everyone, it's Fussy here again. Well, it's almost been a full 2 weeks into the league. You likely have all four of your Void Stones in your Atlas. You probably have over 100 Atlas points ready to spend. And you're just wondering, what's the problem right now? The problem is you probably don't have enough currency to actually run your favorite meta strategy. Any of those Atlas strategies you see with all the sextants, all the nice juicy scarabs, gilded wing scarabs, all that stuff that's going to boost the hell out of your map quant, you just don't have the money to run it. Typically, you're going to want around 8 to 10 divines to even get started with some of those strategies. And at the current moment, you might be sitting at less than a divine or maybe one or two, right? So, what should you do? Well, just Alk and go? Is that an option? That is an option. But what league mechanics to run with that? So, these are the questions that I typically ask myself every league when I reach this point. And my goal this league was simply just to run multiple farming strats throughout the league to gauge the value of time for money on low or no budget mapping. The mechanics that I used in the first test were Delirium and Expedition. I used node blocking on the tree, and what I sold during that mapping run was just the Delirium Orbs, the Simulacrums, maps, the logbooks, the reroll currencies, you name it. The outcome for that, well, I farmed this the first week of the league. I funded my character, which was about 10 divine for the gear that I have on now. I purchased multiple other shit like bases and maps and mats and crafting for rolling more maps and things like that. Yeah, the loot and the currency felt very consistent, since not only do you get good currency from the logbook sales, but you're also going to get good currency from the maps themselves, just selling those. You're also going to get good currency from your Tujan rerolls and your Danig rerolls and just rogging items and things like that. So there's a lot of ways that you're going to make some good currency during that. And so during that first week, it was able to fund my character and give me quite a bit of money. Now, in week two, I slightly changed my approach and I decided to run Delirium with shrines and strong boxes. And I decided to add Wandering Path and Growing Hordes for the additional quant and the pack size. Although the currency here was still feeling okay, I feel like this strat just requires, it really requires the sextants and the scarabs and everything to feel good. Because since you're in a wandering path setup, if you can't make all of your strong boxes rare and or corrupted, then it's just really not going to be worth running the strong boxes, in my opinion. So I quickly swapped out of that one, and I swapped the strong box nodes for essence nodes, and am now seeing how that feels. I also did a quick stint where I had incursion worked in. In the incursion, I had worked in simply so I could farm out a bunch of double corruption chambers. I farmed out 4 during that time, so it was pretty good. And so, yeah, the reason for this video, though, is not about the intricacies of these farming strats. It's not about any of that kind of shit. It's rather to convey the message that while I was running these strats, I never once stopped to ask myself, is this the most hyper efficient way to run this strat? Or is this strat better than X, Y, or Z strat? I was never really stopping to ask myself those questions. And something I've noticed is that as I've become more of an experienced PoE player over the years, I realized something. Many of the meta farming strats that you will see always require some form of investment outside of Alk and Vaal. Many of the meta farming strats always require some form of investment outside of Alk and Vaal orbs. This isn't a problem on its own, but a farming strat is only ever as profitable as a person suggests, while the numbers of people farming that strat are limited. As soon as it becomes the meta, the materials to farm the strat typically become bloated in price, and very quickly you will find that the time you spent trading for your materials and rolling your maps just right with regex to make sure you don't have any bad mods, and then running the maps and then trading the items you farmed, it leaves you with very little profit to be had. And so this brings me to my next point. Very often I'll read on forums like Reddit or PoE, like the official forum there, that players are broke. They have no way of farming currency. They can't figure out how they're going to get their next upgrade. They just can't seem to get their hands on elusive items like Headhunter or Mage Blood or even like Ashes. I mean, hell, there are some folks that can't even imagine holding 10 Divine in their stash at any given point of a league. And so my message to you is simple. Stop worrying about those meta strats and stop worrying about which farming strat is better than which. Instead, start playing what you find fun and what you can keep your focus on. Because what I've found for myself personally is that if I'm not enjoying, like just really, really enjoying my time in PoE, I very quickly become burned out, and it doesn't matter how much money that strat's making me, I don't care. It'll just burn me out and I don't want to play the game. Or I quickly lose focus on that strat and maybe I run into a bad patch, 5 maps or so where I didn't make as much money as the last 5. Now I start losing faith in that strat because I already wasn't enjoying it in the first place. There's so many issues with running the game and playing the game that way versus just playing the strat you personally find very, very enjoyable so that you can enjoy your mapping session. The money will follow, guys. You just have to run the maps. So, for example, my plan over the last day of farming was to run the Wandering Path and Growing Horde setup, and I did this along with 4 Rusted Metamorph Scarabs, and these were the cheapest at the time, so that's why I bought them. I was doing this on the Delhi Incursion setup, and I was just alking and vowling my maps. That's it. So around 3 to 4 chaos per map between the Scarabs and the Alk and Vaal. I didn't run any Fortune Favors the Brave or anything like that. And the goal was simply just to farm Deli Orbs and Simulacrums to sell while spending no money essentially on investing in the maps. And I just wanted to see how many Deli Orbs, Simulacrums I could get, how many maps I could get, how many double corruption chambers I could get to sell, maybe even use some of them myself because those gambles can be pretty big. So yeah, it was just about running the maps with a simple and well laid out plan to get the maps done as fast as possible. I would enter the map, I would see if it has a deli mirror. If it has a deli mirror, great. I would run that as soon as possible, and we would get to the end of the map and then run the boss, run the Crucible, and leave. That's maybe 1.5 minutes, under 2 minutes a map. If there is no deli mirror, then I would simply just rush the boss, and then we would go in and do the Crucible Forge, and that was that. So that's maybe 20 to 30 seconds in that map. So we're not talking about very long in these maps. I farmed just under 75 maps, and in just under those 75 maps, we did just over 10.5 Divine, plus some Igneous Geodes as well. There's 12 Igneous Geodes, which sell at around 15 C a pop. So that's around another Divine there. So damn near 12 Divine in just under 75 maps. Meanwhile, these maps only took me around 2 hours, and that was with a bong break session in between. So when it comes down to making the money, I'm sure a highly efficient person could cut that time down drastically, and they could be making a ton more money than I just made. And especially if you're using an even stronger meta build, not a Spellslinger Sabo that I had put together, because obviously Spellslinger Sabo had not been done before, but I wanted to try it out because of the new rework. So ultimately it did work out very well. Had a rough start, but it's good now. So yeah, whether you're a busy parent with only a few hours a week to play, or you're a sweat lord like me with too much time on your hands, if you want to make money this league, the opportunities are out there for little to no investment at all. I have linked my Atlas tree below, so if you want to use that, you can go ahead and use that, or you can obviously find many Atlas trees available online, or you can even design your own and have some fun with it. I do encourage that. It's very, very rewarding when you can find something in this game that not only other people aren't using, but it actually ends up working, and it makes you some good money. It's a really, really good feeling. So definitely encourage some experimentation from you, the community. I would love to see that. And if you guys find anything that you think is, the next best thing since sliced bread, be sure to send it to your boy Fussy, and I'll make sure to get it out there. But yeah, expect to see many more updates on my Atlas tree throughout the league. I'll be sure to keep you all updated with any diamonds in the rough that I may find. And yeah, but shit, I mean, damn near 12 divines in under 2 hours of Alcan Go gaming is already sounding pretty good to me. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button down below. If you did not, obviously don't. But yeah, until next time, I love you all. Take care and peace out.